RFK Jr., and we'll talk about this next week, is going to be a vital resource to President Trump in terms of saving America if President Trump really chooses to listen to RFK Jr. RFK Jr. was on a podcast earlier this week where he talked about the attack on farms around the world, family farms, but also how this is happening here. And what he spoke about was it's not a good idea for land to be centered in the hands of very, very few people. We get this. This is a leftist point of view, and it's not good for very few people to own land. Private property is one of the hallmarks of a functioning republic, that you can have private property, even if your property and my property is smaller than that of far wealthier people. We still have it. But food is different. And RFK Jr. talked about food security in terms of securities to democracies. It's exactly right. When entities are allowed to buy up all the farms and government is putting pressure on farms to shut down and ranches to shut down, they're going after the small guys, and it's the big guys who win. That cannot come out well. You know, when Stalin decided to kill Ukrainians, it was that famous quote, "Why waste a bullet when we can use famine?" Now, I'm not saying that the government would do that, but I'm not saying they wouldn't. Look at the things they have been willing to do to us. Look at the era into which we're entering. They want to control speech and thought and movement. Why would they not want to control food? The very fact that the people who are producing fake meat, like Bill Gates, have said that there should be regulatory pressure in what he would call the developed world. We can wait a little bit in the less developed worlds, but in the developed world, we need to put regulatory pressure on people to adopt fake meat. That is a bottleneck behavior. And if you watched or listened to the show for a while, you understand that I look for bottlenecks of power because it's a way to recognize a pattern. RFK Jr. recognizes this. President Trump should be using RFK Jr. to look at all the regulatory agencies. He makes a strong case that there was this push to move farmers over to specific sorts of fertilizers. And after they were moved over to that, then the government came along and said, "Oh, wow, those fertilizers are really bad. We're going to need to shut you down." But it's an attack against a family farm in Pennsylvania. And it's not the most exciting, visually interesting video, but I want you to watch it. If you're on the video service, if you're in audio, I'll describe it for you. I want you to know what's going on. I think we owe it to the farmer to actually witness this with him because it's happening there, but it's only one guy, just like it was only Alex Jones that was going to be banned from Twitter. Only one guy. Only one person can control ultimately how your health is, and it's you. It's your sleep. Now, last night, I got to confess, I had horrible sleep. Now, there's a reason for that. I used a stimulant that I don't usually use except for big workout days. We did my birthday workout yesterday. So I woke up thinking, okay, that's the first time I can say that Magnesium Breakthrough failed me. Well, then I looked on my nightstand, and my Magnesium Breakthrough was sitting right there. So I had a poor sleep rating. Yeah, I used this. It's nothing crazy. It's not a weird stimulant. It's called Total War. And I used this for days. I know I'm going to be really challenging a workout, and Coach put together a burner of a workout for my birthday to celebrate that. And I did. There's Magnesium Breakthrough. I didn't take it. I still got 6.5 hours of sleep. It's just not quality stuff. If you suffer for sleep, then you need to look at Magnesium Breakthrough because it will also help you with anxiety and regularity. Incidentally, did you know that being regular can actually help increase your fat loss and keep fat off your body because it makes your body that much more efficient? This is the very last time I can tell you because I've seen the copy that we're doing next week and I know what they're promoting. It's a great product. It's a product stack I use, but it's not the free bottle of Magnesium Breakthrough. Really the last chance. It's megbreakthrough.com/ToddFree. No questions asked. You get a free bottle. We just ask that you tell us how it worked for you. megbreakthrough.com/ToddFree. There's a Pennsylvania farmer. His name is Amos Miller. He is a guy who just provides good, healthy meats to people, good, healthy milks. You know, it's Amish land. He doesn't use the preservatives. He doesn't use hormones. And also, he doesn't pasteurize his milk, which has been the case for most of human history. For most of human history, milk was not pasteurized. If you've ever had raw milk, it's actually really good. There are farmers out here who sell it, and you can get in trouble for selling it because it's very, very bad, except it's not. You can get sick on any food supply, but no one's reporting an illness from this man's farm. No one is reported getting sick from his meat or his dairy or anything like that. He's a threat because he's not folding. His job when the feds came at him was to fold because they were going to create a case. They were going to go to other farmers and say, everybody we've come to with this has ended up folding or settling. He won't do it. They want to build a track record. They want to build momentum. It's like this. The federal agencies like this want to be like pirates. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go people and slit throats, but they want to be like pirates. And here's what I mean. The pirate flag was one of the greatest brands in history. Truly, I used to teach this when I lectured at UCLA Anderson School for MBAs and returning MBAs. I used to lecture about media, and I'd use the pirate flag example. And I had this screen where I would uncover, one was the Red Cross, one was Coca-Cola, one was a pirate flag, and I'd remove a square from each of those logos. And it was always the pirate flag that people saw first, always. It was that indelible. But it was the brand promise that mattered. See, the reason that they raised the pirate flag eventually, like they'd be coming at you, you'd see a ship across the horizon, and they'd be flagged as from Norway or something, and then the Norwegian flag came down, up came the pirate flag, and instantly here's what the brand said. Stop, let us board you, or we will destroy you. If you let us board you, we'll take some of your stuff, some of your women, not all of them, and we'll let you go. Why? Well, so you'd go tell others. Hey, this ship came and it had a black flag and it had a white skull and these crosses from these bones. And here's what they did to us. That's why they let people go. Now, if you fought them, they'd destroy everything and put some of you in a lifeboat and drop you off somewhere. Why? Same thing. So you go tell your friends, oh my gosh, this ship came along and it did this to us and here's what the flag looked like. So Amos Miller's farm was once again shut down. This was now the state coming at him. And there it is.
Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, looking inside the window into Amos Miller's farm store operation here. We have multiple state troopers inside. We have coolers there on the ground that have been filled with products from Amos Miller's operation. We have multiple people in there. They've been inside Amos Miller's building here for hours, not allowing media in, searching the premises.
Now, it's a basement. It looks like not well lit. Looks like it's basement. It's sort of these exposed lights. And yeah, it's a packing portion of his farm. It's not the active portion. It's not the growth portion. Looks like it's the packaging and the mailing. And yep, there's some coolers open. And what are they doing?
I was told by one of the troopers that they are executing a search warrant. I was instructed that I cannot be inside. Again, if you followed Amos Miller in the past, you know that he's a local farmer here in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, who provides organic products to his private buying club. People voluntarily choose to buy from him. I actually just spoke with a customer who came several hours today to purchase products. He's been a customer for 20 years, never been sick, never gotten sick, I should say, from Amos Miller's products. And here you have these two men coming over, pointing to these coolers. Again, these coolers have at least been partially filled with products from Amos Miller's store. It looks like they will be hauled off. You have these tyrants coming in and searching. And here's the problem with, you have these state troopers and these other, I'm assuming they work for the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. These people are at the heart of our tyranny problem in America. They'll tell you, I'm sure, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing what I was told. State trooper will say, I'm just doing my job. This is the problem we have in America. As long as there are people like this who will execute, who will follow the orders of the tyrants, the bureaucratic tyrants at the top.
He's exactly right. It's the same issue that we saw with another thing. Well, you remember, you can't go out unless you're wearing that thing. Remember that? The attack on farms and family farms is coming on the heels of some other things. You remember some news stories. Do you remember there was a news story that informed us that your home garden was actually worse for the environment than mega farms? Do you remember those stories? I do. They all came out suspiciously at the same time. You growing seeds in the dirt behind your house to maturity, picking them, washing them, and eating them is worse for the environment than it being trucked in from around the country. No one can believe that. Well, except safest, most secure election in history. Except Joe Biden is mentally crisp. People do believe it. Here's my suggestion for President Trump. With RFK Jr. with him, let RFK Jr. go do the dismantling, the attacking of the agencies, the taking them apart, agencies that would go do things like this and help rich people and huge corporations like Monsanto corner the market on all food, destroy that, tear it apart in every capacity. President Trump, on the other hand, should build this: a tax credit for family gardens. Just a simple tax credit for growing your own food. Why? Food security. It makes it harder for big, nefarious organizations to come and attack our food supply. A tax credit. For small family farms, a generational tax credit to stay in the business of farming, and some protections against organizations like Monsanto. President Trump, with RFK Jr.'s help, could build a bulwark against tyranny that would frighten people like Gates, because they've been trying to discredit our own gardening and having our own food and our own unpasteurized milk for years. It's what God designed. It's one of the common blessings. Thank you, Lord.